All right, we're live here. Scott, you want to do the introduction?
I gotta get both your faces. This is so great. Okay, got it.
All right, here we are again up on the historic Whiting Hotel balcony. We got some lovely ladies here staying here with us at the historic Whiting. Who's that? Is that some silver goose? What kind of booze we got there? That looks like the good stuff, guys.
Yeah.
We're here. We are. We're going to be back this Friday night rambling with Rooster and Pepper here on the historic Whiting balcony. You guys still like coming up and join us here? We're going to be for at least a good 30, 40, maybe an hour. We'll see where these stories go tonight. Guys, here we are with, again, this is Rooster Cockburn, a.k.a. good friend Clarence Benish, a professor from Pawnee College, and Ned Pepper here, a.k.a. Doc Scholl, local Osage, or not Osage, but Pawhuska man here from Osage County. So guys, here, we're going to get this night started with a little bit of Rooster and Pepper. Let's see where we go.
All right. Now, we're going to try to keep this short because those ladies, those pretty ladies down there, they've got some liquid they might need help with. You know, just doing the courteous thing, help them out a little.
Just got to do your thing, that's it.
But I got a special treat for us, Doc. You know, with this pandemic and kids growing up with this fear, kind of fear in the air, I was reading my old Morrison Chronicle, which I wrote, a long time ago, dang near 28, 29 years ago. Only a few people heard of it, the Morrison Chronicle. But I found this story in there. It's a graduation story. You know, there's a lot of graduations going on, college, high school. They had delayed them, and then now they figured out a way to do them. And well, this is an 8th grade graduation story, and it happened in 1965. Now, you got just like today in 2020, you can imagine with what's going on around the world, around the state and the nation, that this is going to be remembered by them graduates, and it affects their vocabulary. You know, everybody, we learn new words like social distancing. I told you that story about one of my old girlfriends wanted to practice social distancing, and we decided it should be around, she decided it should be around 100 miles.
Oh, you know, 100 miles.
100 miles. But anyway, so you got to know the backstory. In 1965, in this graduation party, 8th grade graduation party. Now, I don't know if they celebrate 8th grade graduation much anymore, but, you know, my dad only got an 8th grade education, and Uncle Emil only went to the 6th grade. But this was 1965, and, you know, people went on to college and high school, finished high school and college. But here is the backstory to that graduation story. Just a couple years before that, and we were talking about those dates, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. And before that, we had the Bay of Pigs, invasion of Cuba. We were in the Cold War. And by golly, it was in grade school where we learned duck and cover.
Yep,
remember?
I remember it.
You get under your school desk and cover your head, and some people said you put your head between your legs and kiss something goodbye, but but it was pretty darn close to that. And we had those drills, and we had these cellars full of crackers and water. So this is the kind of fear that we lived with in 1965. And the Vietnam War was starting to heat up a little bit too. So remember that, because some of the vocabulary of this story is reflected in that fear. So now there was only about 6 of us graduating 8th grade that were males. I think we had 4, or maybe I think we only had about 4 girls. Pretty small class. And we had a party at this farmhouse. One of the classmates, Clarence Wolf was his name, and they had a big old house, and And upstairs there were 3 bedrooms and a little bathroom. Now, I don't know, I can't remember if the girls had to leave because we didn't have places for them to stay, but all the boys got to spend the night. Now, we played cards that afternoon, and we had a nice meal and probably hamburgers, and then we had popcorn and maybe watched a TV show. Well, it was time to kind of hit the sack. So we had these 3 rooms, 2 to a room, big double bed, and so my buddy Frank and I got the one on the end, and there was one at the other end. Much like this balcony, there was a little banister and these 3 bedrooms, one in the middle, one at each end, and a small bathroom in the middle too. So we get into into our bedroom, and so we sure had a good time today. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And, but you know, we did cause a lot of trouble there, and those other guys, they may want to get back at us somehow. Now, I've heard these female, when they have an overnight party, they get into, what do they call them when the girls
call
do
them
it?
slumber parties.
Slumber parties, yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Well, this was kind of a male slumber party, but like those girl slumber parties, sometimes you get into a pillow fight, which is a nice soft weapon. Now, my buddy and I, we had this fear that we may be woke up in the middle of the night by the other 4 graduates in the other 2 rooms. They could come storming in there and just pound us nearly to death with their pillows before we woke up. Because it was dark. That hall was dark. You couldn't see anything. So we were contemplating, well, that might happen to us. And I suggested, or one of us did, well, let's come up with an early warning device. Now, this was a term used in the Cold War. You put those radars and things in Canada and Alaska, because those nukes from Russia will be coming over the North Pole. They're not going to go east and west. They're going to go north and then south.
Alaska, right?
Yeah. So that was a term we'd heard all the time. Well, I said, how are we going to make an early warning device? Now, we were pretty clever little 8th graders. Now, it was a big treat back then. I think we talked about this another time. To get a soda pop, you only had them once a week. You didn't drink them like water.
Like you do now.
And we had that big old, they called it king size. It was, 12-ounce bottle, glass bottle of Coca-Cola Classic. They didn't call it Classic because it was a classic.
It was the real thing.
It was the original, called it Classic later.
The real thing.
And we still had our empty bottles. We were finishing that bottle as we went to bed. So everybody had a bottle of pop as they went to bed. And so we came up with this idea. My buddy found some thread in the dresser drawer. So now remember, it's pitch black, and we didn't want to turn the light on because there's a big gap under all those doors. And that light would have just shone right in there, and they would have known we were up and up to something, and they would have been prepared for us if we were going to race into their room.
They're going to find out what you were doing.
Yeah, so we wanted to keep this secret. So what we did is we wrapped that thread around the neck of one of those bottles, and we set it against the wall, and then we pulled that thread over to the other bottle on the other wall and tightened it up. Got real tight. And then we snuck back into our room. Now, you couldn't even touch that bottle or touch that thread without knocking over both of them. And this was a wood floor. See, at first we thought, well, let's just barricade our bedroom. There was no lock on the door. But we thought, we can't barricade the door. We would move the furniture, and not only would it might scratch the floor, but they'd hear that. Because on a wood floor, wood on wood, you're going to hear that in the middle of the night. And everybody's going to be suspicious because we were the pranksters. They put the 2 pranksters in one room. So we didn't want to disappoint them. But at the same time, we didn't want to be attacked ourselves. So we had that early warning device. It was only about 3 feet out from our bedroom, out in the hall, and we went back and got in our bed, and we felt, oh, we're safe. We are safe from attackers. And we're laying there, and just anticipation that's going to be triggered here pretty soon. But we're going to be ready. We're going to grab our pillows and meet them at the door and drive them out. We're going to be outnumbered 2-1, but they won't have the advantage of surprise.
Right.
So we were laying there, wide awake, waiting for that attack. Well, the attack never came. And I thought, well, maybe we ought to do something about that. Maybe we ought to launch a preemptive strike.
Yeah, that's what I was
It's funny. I'll forget my words right here on live camera as if I was shy. But so let's launch a preemptive strike. Well, if we do that, we'll have to deactivate our early warning device. Remember,
your bottle.
because we can't turn the light on, because that's just telling them we're coming. So we open the door real quiet, and we go out there. We can't see the hand in front of our face. And remember, we had that thread real tight between those two bottles. We said, where is that? It's got to be here somewhere. Anyway, we touched that thread, and both those bottles fell over and started rolling down the hall.
Oh,
and those doors open, the lights come on, they come running out of there with their pillows, they had it outnumbered 2-1, and they pounded on us. We ran back in the door, and we went back in our room and held the door. And,
boy, you got it going.
So things started settling down. We could hear them go back to their rooms, and we watched for the lights to go off. And we thought, man, that didn't work out too well. But
You got beat up.
and they're likely to come again, a second wave. You know, like Pearl Harbor, they thinking that there was going to be a second wave.
Go regroup and come back.
Regroup and come back. So what are we going to do? And I thought, well, buddy, we ought to reset our early warning device again. So
Set them balls back
that
up.
but we can't turn the lights on, because if we turn the lights on, they're going to see us.
Don't give you away.
So we went back out there to set up our early warning device for the second time. Now we got it set up. Oh, and it was extra tight this time, and we put it out a little further, so we'd have even more warning.
No more warning.
And we went back, got in our bed, sat there, looked at the walls and the ceiling, waiting for the second wave. Well, it never came, and we couldn't stand it. We couldn't stand it.
They had you.
And so I thought, well, let's launch another preemptive strike. This time we won't set off our own alarm. So we went crawling out there on our hands and knees, trying to find that string, that thread, and the two bottles that were up against the wall. And once again, we set off the alarm, and they come running out. This time we were on the floor. Easy target for them. Now, well, I can't tell you how many times we did this, but that repeated itself for the rest of the night.
Y'all never got no sleep.
We would set off our own alarm
Yep.
for a preemptive strike, which never happened. It just warned them, they come. It went on until finally we just gave it up. So the next morning, with only a couple hours of sleep, we turned to each other and said, you know that early warning device? It sure did work, didn't it? He said, it sure
did.
It sure did. It worked. And so that was the story of the early warning device and what fear can do to make you make the wrong decisions.
Exactly.
But it was funny. But you know, that was such an innocent time, drinking Coke, eating popcorn, and hitting each other with pillows.
Yep.
It
was different being a kid back then.
Yeah. Do you remember any old stories like that, parties you had when you were like an 8th grader or 6th grader? maybe a sleepover with guys or maybe a camping story. You got a camping story you remember?
Got a bunch of those. Few camping.
Yeah, but as a kid. Now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, tell us about one.
Oh no, we did a lot of when we were a kid around here. Mostly, we would take off. Now this is how I was when I was a kid. We were kind of ornery like you was. So we had this old cemetery from the sister school, which was very haunted, and it was out there for years. That was my clubhouse when I was a little boy, about 10, 11 years old.
What was the name of that?
That was the sister school. I just remember it's the sister school.
And it's here in and around Pawhuska?
It's gone. Cedar Ridge is built where the school was. They tore it down. There's a monument of it down there by the bridge.
Oh, you're talking about the St. Louis
The
boarding
St.
school.
Louis boarding school. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I
There's
used-
still a brick out there, or a stone from what year was that? Was that, you remember 19 or 18 something?
1901 or something. It was early 1900s.
I think it's back further than that. I think it's in 1800s. Well,
Actually, you're right. I think it was
that up.
1800s. But
I'll look
it
that
had to
up.
be in the
Continue with
late
your story. I'm sorry to interrupt.
1890. Well, it's an old building, and we would stay in this place. Just kids. That's what we did. We stay in this old school, and it was
Sneak in there at night?
Stake in there at night, and it had electric. So up there where we had this room, we had a light on up there.
Ah.
And we'd sneak out there, and we had to stay out there. Well, this old man that was out there, he would run us off with a double-barrel shotgun full of rock salt. Never got me, but he shot at us plenty of times. I ain't lying. But we made friends with that old man finally, and he let us we'd help him run the farm, help him feed his animals. He was old, and we were kind of kids that forgive and forget. Back then, you know, we were kind of being mean to that poor old guy running on his place, fishing his pond, and he'd run us off. And we finally got where we weren't scared no more, so he let us hang out there and help him. And he's the nicest guy he ever was. But we'd stay out there, and on Halloween, that old cemetery is still out there, and it's got one old cemetery from the 1880s and 90s out there.
We don't need to tell nobody where that's at either.
Nope, it's on private property, but it's a spooky place, and we used to take our buddies out there.
You think John Stink's buried out there?
No,
That's another place. Okay.
no, not out there. He wouldn't have been. But a lot of kids passed away in that old school from tuberculosis. Is what was going on back then.
Yeah, it was a boarding school.
It was a boarding school,
Yeah.
but it was happening and everything. But the times we spent out there was just scaring kids. We'd take them out on Halloween trips and spook them in these old cemeteries that were open back then. We could get to them when you're a kid. They're private. You can't get to them anymore. But
Yeah.
it's still there. And if you're ever in Cedar Ridge, you just look over in the woods and you can see the big cross still in the cemetery there. And a lot of history with that old school. The sisters, they really took care of a lot of kids. It was a big school for a long time. And, too many places we had a lot of fun when we graduated out of high school. Places we did, and just run around.
I bet you went fishing on the Arkansas River a few times, didn't you?
Oh yeah, who couldn't go fishing on the Arkansas and not talk about it?
Yeah.
A lot of catfish on the Arkansas. Yeah, we did float trips down there too. To take off and go fishing.
Now, those float trips a little bit on the dangerous side, don't you? Got a lot of quicksand out there. And I only had the opportunity to go a couple times on Arkansas as a kid.
Yeah, that was me.
And we'd set a bank lines, and we'd catch some channel cat, and we'd have them for breakfast. And we'd stay up all night telling stories and whatever. And, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. But it was kind of dangerous if you got out there too far. Wading, that water, the sand shifts around. So
Get caught
from
on the sandbar.
one week to the next, you would not know where there might be quicksand. So we're not recommending that you go out there unsupervised.
On the
You
Arkansas
got to know
River.
where to fish and be safe. Because there's a... Hey, speaking of which, I saw this on Facebook today. There were some kids, and they weighed about 80 pounds, and so did the fish. The fish was as big as the kid holding it up.
I can believe it.
And they caught that. I think they caught it on the Arkansas River. Boy.
Well, Blue
So-
Stem's got a lot of flathead and
Yeah.
fish in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have either one of you guys ever gone noodling?
Shoot him again. Actually, no, I don't think. I don't think I've ever officially noodled. Now, I had a noodling champion next door to me out there at the funny
We got
farm,
some of them right here.
and he'd hang his trophies, which was just the head of the out on
Pick
his
one of them
fence,
holes out there.
like those coyotes,
Yeah.
coyote hunters. I saw 16 coyotes hanging on a fence one time. Well, it took about a quarter mile to hang them all. They put one about every fence post or so. 16 of them. But my neighbor, I think he had 6 or 7 of those catfish heads
Sticking on them poles out there.
sticking
the
on
trophies.
his fence, and that was next door. He showed me the scars. Now, every noodling champion can show you the scars. They'll pull up their sleeve, and there's unmistakably catfish bite.
And they're
marks
proud
on
of them,
it. Yeah,
too.
they're proud of them.
They are.
Now, I had one old fella, I ain't going to mention his name. He's still around kicking down there in Morrison. But when he was a kid, he went noodling behind the dam at Sooner Lake or somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And he said he tried to wrap his arms around a catfish, and he couldn't get them all the way around. He had it, I know the technique. You put your arm in their mouth and you come out a gill. Okay, that's when they bite you down, but they can't really do a whole lot of damage except gnaw on you for a
Trying
while.
to reach back to that jaw.
If it's big, then you got to bring the other arm around and lock hands and then try to stand up and walk out of there.
Uh-huh.
Well, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And of course, he had to let go. Because,
Not the guy.
that,
He wouldn't have.
that fish, that's the story he tells. The big one.
Everybody's got fish. I got a couple.
Yeah, let's hear a fish story.
I got one of my buddy I used to work with. He only about 5'6", tough as nails. This little guy, but he was a noodler like you're talking about, and he wouldn't let him go. He wrapped his legs, arms, and everything around, and he'd push up, and you better be there to grab his hair because he's going to go back down. So you'd grab his hair, pull him out of the water with the fish. And that one he caught was a 72-pound flathead he brought out of that water. He wouldn't let it go for nothing. I thought that fish is going to kill you. He said, not me. I'll get it first, he said. So, yeah, a lot of good fishing stories. And I know a couple other guys. One of them's his son. He's a big noodle fisherman. And he's got a bunch of crazy stories. They actually won a few tournaments here during those catfish tournaments they were doing on TV here. And a couple of my buddies, they placed real good noodling them crazy catfish. I wouldn't stick my hand in a hole for nothing. But I'll grab your hair and pull you out.
Well, I don't have a noodling story, but I got something kind of related, and I think Scott will like this. Come on down. Come on down and join us.
Yeah, come on.
I'm going to tell you the story how we used to retrieve pigs.
Uh-oh, not pigs.
Yeah.
They're on
Now, we got real creative in making a pig shed. One of my expressions for my room, my mother would go in there and say, looks like a pigsty, Well, you can just take an old pickup bed on a short bed pickup that's detached from the pickup and turn that sucker upside down, and it makes an excellent little pig shed,
Well, I'll be darned.
The trouble is, if they get in there and you need to cut them, well, they won't come out. I think they sense something's wrong, especially when they hear the squealing from their litter mates. They're not going to participate in that cutting. Now, you farm boys know what we're talking about here. We're cutting something that they kind of partial to.
Uh-huh.
And it was an FFA trip. Now, an FFA is you got to learn how to cut pigs, and you got to learn a lot of things. Well, we'd wait till they're about 200 pounds. Some of us would. Now you say, why would you wait till they're 200 pounds?
So big.
Well, for two reasons. You have a lot bigger mountain oyster
That's it.
to eat later. And the meat will be leaner because they've got all that extra.
Got some fresh catfish makes in the back seat.
Hey! You got all that extra testosterone running in them. They keep the meat's leaner. So we like to cut them when they're about 120. Well, sometimes they get up to 200 pounds. You know, that's when you should. Well, anyway. So this is a field trip out to the farm, to my funny farm, where I'm still living today. But this happened over 55 years ago, too.
Okay.
And they said to me, he says, well, Rooster, your pigs are under that upside down pickup bed, and they ain't coming out. How are we going to get them out? Now, this is the tie to the noodling story.
Uh-oh.
I've never did any noodling, but I did retrieve those pigs. It's kind of the same way you told me to grab them by the hair,
Yeah.
pull me out. Well, I crawled under that upside. We're only talking about a foot and a half.
Just barely off the ground.
About a foot and a half off the ground. And there's mud and other liquids down in there with those beds. So I crawled in there, and I would wrap my arms around one of those pigs, and I'd holler, grab my legs and pull me out. And so they would do that. The other FFA members pull me out, and then, we would service that pig. But then we had one more to get. So I crawled back down there and did it again. And I tell you, our VOAG instructor, he said, well, I've never seen this technique used before, but it'll go down in the history books. Yeah,
That's a good one.
FFA history book. Hey, we got a new couple up
I
here.
see that.
Who are you guys? Tell us your names.
Dirk and Cammy.
Dirk and Cammy.
Derek?
Dirk.
Dirk.
Cammy.
And where are you from?
Shawnee.
Shawnee.
Oklahoma.
I got a great story about Shawnee.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
We'd love to hear it.
I'm sure
I
it's gonna be a good one.
I
too.
actually lived in Shawnee. My son was born in Shawnee. And I got a bunch of stories.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And see, the one I want to tell, though, it's more recent. I went back to Shawnee a few years ago to teach at Oklahoma Baptist University.
Amen.
Yeah. And I got to live in university housing right across from the campus. And now, when I moved in there, they said, now, don't believe the story about the ghost ringing your doorbell. Okay, I won't believe the story about the ghost ringing the doorbell unless the ghost rings the doorbell. Then I might have to revisit that request. Well, in the middle of the night, our front doorbell would ring. And I'd run to the door. I mean, somebody ringing the doorbell in the middle of the night, it's got to be an emergency, right? Well, there wouldn't be anybody there. And there was only 4 houses on this little side street.
Where was this?
Across from Oklahoma Baptist University, directly across the street there, that big old street.
All right.
There's 4 houses. There may be 6 university housing. They're all the same. Okay. Yeah, I forgot the name of the street. But it's pretty convenient for me. I could literally walk to work. And so I had me a roommate. He was the softball coach. And they did real well. You know, OBU's powerhouse when it comes to women. He was the women's softball coach. And he heard it too. And some nights I'd be there and some nights he would be. But it happened to both of us. And it would happen at all times, day and night. And we never did figure it out. We thought, well, there's got to be some kind of logical explanation to this. And I'm not saying this is it, but it could be. But it still wouldn't explain all of them. Because one time, it was in the afternoon, I just got in from work, walked in. I was tired. I went in my room, you know, and started to fresh up a little bit, and I heard the doorbell ring. And I had the habit, when the doorbell rang, I'd run. I mean, I literally would run to the door because I was trying to catch something. The ghost or
Kept ringing the
or a
doorbell.
prankster. But kids didn't even come down that street during Halloween. So we didn't have any of that kind of problem. But I did, this one time, I did see something. It was somebody across the street ringing their doorbell. Now, I know that don't make any sense. Because these were the old type that were wired into your house. Now they're all remote.
Yeah.
You know, they're wireless.
Right.
You don't need no wiring at all.
Had to go to the bell ringer.
But this was wired. In fact, I have one in my old house. It was built in '54. A wired doorbell ringer. And, but that's the closest I could come that somehow that electrical impulse from there came clear across the street and rang my doorbell. But that don't make a whole lot of sense. And it doesn't explain why it would be the
radio control.
And it still doesn't explain why it happened at night.
Yeah, who was ringing their doorbell?
Yeah, who was? Well, no, I saw the person ringing their doorbell.
Ringing
You
their
sure
own
you weren't
doorbell.
seeing the ghost ringing the doorbell?
No, it was somebody coming to their door, ringing their doorbell.
Were they? Did they have running shoes on? Because maybe they just ran from your house
Ain't
over there.
nobody that bad.
Really fast.
That would be really.
I can see him
Because
getting
I
in the
only
door.
had to cover about 20 yards to get to the front door from the back bedroom.
Maybe that fast.
But
He was scared.
so to this day, we never did figure out. I have to call down there or something. I got some old friends down there.
Right, fine.
Find out if they ever figured out who's ringing the doorbells. But you know, I think we ought to get some more information from our new guest here. See, Derek and
Cammy.
Cammy.
Okay, I would like to offer a suggestion.
Yeah.
Have you already explained what you do for a living? Okay.
Oh, we can play
a
the game.
little
Yes.
charades, a little charade.
What's my line?
Well,
Or what's my? Yeah.
What's my profession?
Okay.
Oh, that's
In
a game.
your own version of pantomime or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I
and-
have to pretend like I'm doing what I do?
Yes.
Hey Scott.
Listen,
Hey Scott.
Adult film. I mean, I don't know.
Back in the 50s,
That might be an easy one for you.
Scott, you wouldn't remember this, but back in the 50s, late
I gotta
50s,
I got it.
there was a show called "What's My Line,"
Yes,
I remember.
and the
Drew
people.
Carey did that.
And we're supposed
He did
to.
a remake of it, right?
Yeah, and you can only say yes or no answers.
Is this
Okay,
a
so-
radio show?
You want to do it? You want to do it right now?
We have a big community thing.
Oh,
we
okay,
do.
yeah, I'll do it.
All right. Now you
All right, so
wait a
he's
minute.
going- he's
Her
going-
occupation or your occupation?
Which one do you want?
You do your own.
I want two.
That's
Well,
it.
we'll do two.
Two
We'll do
different
both.
ones, so
Okay.
let's start off.
Let's start with
Okay, all right.
Derek.
All right,
Okay.
you guys got to figure out what he does for a
Well,
living.
come on down here. Bring your chair up so that.
I'm
You got to go behind him.
Yeah.
You got to go behind him. Yep. Step
Yeah,
past.
you can see
Go
us
back
right
there.
on the screen here. Now, Doc, you and I are going to ask yes or no questions, and we're going to try to narrow it down.
All right.
Okay. So I'll go first. Now, Derek, now you got to get up here and talk into the mic.
It's Dirk.
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 Close enough.
Close enough. Yeah.
That's a good cowboy name too, right?
Dirk. Is your job extremely dangerous?
Not for me.
Not. It's yes or no. Remember, it's yes or
Oh,
no.
sorry.
Not for me.
No.
Okay, but it gave us a lot of information there. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I gave too much. Sorry.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Your turn.
Is your job demanding and stressful?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Who wouldn't say that?
Well,
Especially nowadays.
Everybody
today
That's
is.
a no-brainer there.
well, I don't know. I think Scott has it pretty easy here.
I do. I think I do.
I have it pretty easy. Rambling is something I do naturally. But anyway, okay. Let's stay focused
Keep
here.
going.
Stay
Here we go.
focused.
Here we go.
All right. Does it involve working with a lot of people?
Yes.
Ah. Okay. Follow up on that now, Doc.
A lot of people.
I feel like you guys are getting to it pretty quickly.
Ask an industry. What industry? Or no, you can't ask the industry. You got to say an industry.
Do you work in construction?
Do you work anything related to energy?
No.
Well, that narrows it down quite a bit.
Not energy.
Hey, this is a good drink. What did you do?
Try agriculture eventually.
That would be a good one. Do you do any ranching or agriculture?
No.
All right. Works for a lot of people. It's not oil and gas or energy or windmills or anything. Not ranching and farming.
It's not dangerous.
And it's not dangerous.
not
At least for
dangerous.
him, it is for other people. It's stressful.
Uh-huh.
And, okay. Does it have to anything to do with sales? You directly.
No.
Okay.
I mean, you sell. Everybody
Yeah, everybody
sells.
sells. Yeah, yeah.
But no.
But your job,
No.
this is about your line.
I don't
Your-
know.
In that show, What's My Line? It's your line of work that we're trying
No.
to. Okay. No. All right.
You're not working in the airline industry, are you?
No. No.
No,
Here, I got one. Can I ask one?
Okay, yeah.
Are you from China?
Well, I'll rephrase that.
Rephrase that.
Does your company have international connections?
No.
Okay.
Mine was too
Narrow it
direct.
down
Sorry.
to the state.
Where are we going?
Yeah, that's all right.
What?
good.
No, you can't win.
No,
What
you're
state?
too
Ask
close.
Oklahoma or something. Remember, he has to answer yes or no.
What? There's all kinds of stuff in this thing.
Yeah. Or maybe is it in the county? See, that would be good.
What county is
This
this?
is Osage County.
It's in Potawatomi County.
Yeah.
He's already told us.
Yeah,
It's
Shawnee.
in- All right, it's Shawnee. Okay.
So,
Okay,
I don't know where it is.
you got one?
Well, I got one. Let's follow up on that. Is your company only in Shawnee?
No.
Okay, I got to follow up. Is your company a chain that started in Shawnee?
Oh, that's a good one. Because Sonic did?
That's a myth, folks. The Sonic started in Stillwater, and I can tell the whole story right
Oh, man.
here. That's a myth. I heard that myth when I went to Shawnee, and I had to straighten them out. The first Sonic, it's right there on the Sonic in Stillwater. It says, America's first. What Shawnee had,
There's a big rival.
the guy who owned the Sonic, but didn't call it the Sonic,
Right.
started a generic drive-in. And Shawnee had the audacity to claim they had the first Sonic when it was existed. So you're not part of that evil group, are you?
No.
Good, because we'd have to push them off the
Oh,
rail.
no. But you said, is it a chain? Is it a chain?
Oh yeah, the original question is: are you involved? The Shawnee business, is it involved with chain?
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are across the country then.
A limited portion. Can I
Okay.
give you that? I can give you
Yeah,
that.
well, Well, you just did. So
Yep.
okay, Doc. Now follow up on it. He's got a chain somewhere,
Yeah, like a
but it's
limited
not
proportion.
nationwide. It's
No.
more of a regional. Let's focus on a region. Think of a region, Asking. Well, we know this region.
We know this region.
It's southwest
Are you
or
southwest, like Texas?
It it is no, not Texas.
Not in this area.
not in Texas.
Well, it sounds like, I'm going to ask you one more. You aren't in the restaurant business, are you?
No, but she is.
Hey, I was
Ah,
George food somewhere.
Sorry, I gave you
Okay.
hers.
All right, not the restaurant, not Texas, but a regional type thing
But a
that
chain.
includes Shawnee. Well, now see, Shawnee, since I lived there, it used to have St. Gregory's, but they shut it down. Oh, I got
They did.
I've got a St. Gregory's story too, ghost story.
Can we?
But-
Can you take guesses?
Yeah, let's just start guessing. What do you think?
Man, by the cut of his hair and his face and everything, I'm going to say plumber.
Of sorts.
Of sorts.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of them fancy plumbers. Nice.
I know
What
them
kind?
guys.
A fancy plumber.
I do human plumbing.
Human plumbing. Oh, he must
Oh,
be. He works on
so
hearts, valves, or something like that.
You work in a hospital.
Peepees.
What?
Peepees.
Is that what we call them nowadays?
Ah, portable potties.
No, you're
Well,
wrong.
see, that's why he was
it
inspired. I talked about pulling those pigs out of the pig pen.
Boy, that was a good story.
Yeah,
They went right with what
But
we
he
had.
stumped us. He was
He
pretty
did.
good.
All right, I didn't mean-
Let's get your wife up
All right.
here.
That's
That's-
great.
Now, we already know it's a restaurant.
Thank you, doctor.
Well, what else?
Yeah,
can
you
we
bet.
do?
Yes,
You
sir.
bet.
One doctor to another.
Yeah, Doc.
And I'm a doc, too.
He's a real
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He's a real PhD. My
Yeah.
nickname is Doc.
Yeah.
What PhD in what?
It's an EDD, Doctor of Education, Social
Okay,
Studies
yeah,
and Emphasis.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Head
And
of
how'd you get
faculty.
your nickname?
Manager for the football team. I was doctoring the football players, putting them back on the field.
Nice.
My coach called me Doc.
But his last name is Scholes.
But it ain't
so
'cause of
people
Doc
ask him
Scholes,
about
it's
his
Scholes.
name. Yeah, Dr. Scholes. When you get a...
We're not gonna
It's actually a football
Thanks.
story.
Yeah.
Sorry. Only the urologist gets to squat.
All right.
Hey,
Now, Doc, let's focus on it. We're gonna get this.
let's get serious.
It's a restaurant, so we got to focus on the food or the region. Okay, first, easy question. Easy question. Is it nationwide?
No.
Oh, it ain't nationwide. Well, that means it has to be regional or state or local. Well, you asked the question. Is it local or something?
Is it local?
Yes.
Well,
All right.
that was obvious. That was local, wasn't it? That was good. Okay.
Well, we got it narrowed down.
We got it
Hey,
narrowed down.
it's
So,
hey. I remember. I'm from.
You
I've
gave
been from.
my whole job away.
I'm
not
from.
completely.
I lived in Shawnee. My son was born there in 1975. We actually had a restaurant there.
You did?
Seven Seas Submarines, right on the corner of Main and Broadway.
Yeah, we live on Broadway and Federal.
small world.
I know where that is.
Why did
You're
I
about
say
three-
that to the internet?
Yeah,
Now
you-
people are going to stalk us.
Well,
Oh, no.
that's
They're
only about
already
3 blocks
stalking
from
you.
where I
Okay.
was.
You know what? Piss off.
Broadway and Federal is only about 3 blocks from where my
yeah,
restaurant
yeah.
was. Okay, so you have a barbecue restaurant.
No.
No barbecue. Now we got to think of the food. Another food.
I'm thinking Tex-Mex.
No, there are some good ones.
They are. They are.
Chicken.
No. I mean, we have chicken.
China. Asian.
No.
I had one. My dad had one. It's a hamburger joint.
No.
No, I thought I was getting close
Well.
to burger.
Okay, now. Stay focused, Doc.
All right, keep
We've
moving.
got to.
I mean, we
It's
have
not-
a hamburger too.
Right, but it's,
We do have
Ah.
hamburger.
it's not,
It's
not
So
a
it's-
whole
it's-
hamburger
Yeah.
concept.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it a, they don't have too many anymore. Not a buffet. What was that other thing? It's like a buffet
Kind of buffet.
where you walk a line and, not like a
You're
buffet.
talking,
Well, is it a buffet?
No.
Okay. Not a buffet. But it's a restaurant serving different kinds of food. Is it all, well, before the pandemic, was it all carry out?
No.
All right. Well, we didn't say pizza. Is it pizza?
No.
It's a local restaurant, and they serve hamburgers and chicken occasionally, and you do serve a little bit of Asian food?
No.
Not technically. Okay, or no. Oh boy, we're stumped. We're stumped.
oh, man. We know it's food.
It's food. Let's go with nationalities. All right, now Shawnee, that was settled by, well, there could be some Italians. Is it Italian food?
We do have Italian food. I mean, we have some Italian dishes for sure.
Oh my gosh, they got Italian food, but they got hamburgers.
I don't know.
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know that you could hammer this down to a
Yeah.
thing.
You want me
We're-
to tell you what it
Is
is?
it even a
Yeah.
chain?
It's not a chain.
Okay, then.
It's a local
It's a
restaurant.
No,
local
I
restaurant.
own it, and it's like a chef-run restaurant that
Oh.
has. It's kind of farm to table style. Like, so we have a small menu, and it's local produce, and local beers and stuff like that, and it's on Main Street.
So it's a farm to market, high-end chef restaurant. So I went in there and say, I want a T-bone steak, 30 ounces, rare, still moving. You'd prepare that for me.
Yes, we could do that.
There you go. That is a specialty.
That is.
Yeah.
You can't do that in most places.
We make stuff from scratch.
From scratch.
Yeah.
And you try to use all local produce.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting really close. We just had a mushroom grower from Shawnee come on too. Yeah, so even our mushrooms are going to be local now.
Wow. You ever serve? This reminds me of a joke. Reminds me of a joke. There was this guy, and it's a restaurant joke. You have permission to use this, and you tell them Rooster now. There was this restaurant, world famous restaurant. It was huge, and they had on the door, "You order, we have it, or you get $5,000."
I'll eat there.
So
That's
people
crazy.
were coming in and saying, I want
Like octopus.
escargot with a side of ribs, and they'd mix all this up. They said, all right, they would bring it, and of course it would be expensive,
Yeah, special.
But they always didn't matter. They didn't even have a menu. They'd say, whatever you want, we have it.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
And so
That's no way.
this guy says, I want to win that $5,000. Now this joke's about
He
30,
thinks he's
40
gonna get
years.
this
So if
money.
we adjust that for inflation, this would be about $50,000.
I was gonna say.
Okay. So this guy thought, I'm going to win that money. So he goes in and he says, I want an elephant ear sandwich. And the waiter says, would that be African or Indian elephant?
Oh boy.
African. Would that be on white or rye bread? Or what kind of bread? He said, I want it on rye. So they go back to the kitchen, come back with a check for $5,000.
They couldn't produce
They said,
no elephant ear.
no, they were out of rye bread.
Oh, they were out of rye bread.
All right, guys.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up.
Oh, you can keep finishing up
Oh.
here. I'm gonna just kind of.
Okay.
We're gonna let these folks go. But now, did you say the name of your restaurant? Go ahead and hand her. Would you
Oh,
hand-
it's
grab
called Theopolis Social Club.
it? Theopolis
Woo!
Social Club in Shawnee, Oklahoma. So anybody out there, if you're around Shawnee, Oklahoma, Theopolis,
A
farm to
nice
table.
Greek name, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Get
Yeah.
down there and see these folks. They're coming to visit us here in Pawhuska. We're going to make a run down there and eat some of that good food.
Awesome.
And let's see if we can make sure that I can pee in a straight line next time. Okay, sir?
Oh,
All right, guys. We're going to let
we
them
got
go on
you.
to their reservations, the Pioneer Woman. And we're just, you guys going to do a couple more little jokes and then we'll close it
Well,
out.
I can talk about the Battle of Theopolis.
All right. Well, we got to let them go. to
You
their
know about
reservation.
that, don't you?
No.
1 million Persians took on 300 Spartans.
That would be 300.
They made some great movies
The
about that.
300.
Yeah.
This is really fun.
But this is true now. There's different historical accounts on that. But they had them in the narrow pass.
Okay.
And after fighting the first day,
Whatever we can out there.
the
Thank you.
Persians
We'll come to Theopolis.
lost 10,000 troops. The Spartans lost 0
Man,
the first day.
first day.
Yeah.
Because that's
Because
300.
their line was no wider than this street. So the Persians had to come in wave after wave. And if you've seen some of the movies, and some of them are fairly accurate, except the latest movie they had on that, the Persians come in these real gaudy-looking, gothic-looking uniforms.
It was a graphic novel. It was a comic book
Yeah.
variation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In reality, if you watch the History Channel version of that, what they really had, and it was to me just as spookier, they called them the Invincibles, or they had a name, because Immortals,
Immortals,
because
right.
all the soldiers looked alike. They had a very thin
veil over their face.
very thin veil over their face. So they all looked alike, but they could see through that veil, and it made them look like ghosts. And that was partially to intimidate the natives that they were attacking when they were expanding their Persian Empire. And because you'd kill off 10,000 of these ghost immortals, and another 10,000 would show up that looked just like them. So, but anyway, we're signing off. We're going to get back to Scott. This has been Rambling with Rooster and Ned Pepper with special guests from the hotel here.
Yes, yes. All right, folks. Thank you very much.
And remember the Thermopylae restaurant down there in
Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Shawnee, Oklahoma. Thermopolis here. It's a pretty neat place, guys. Can't wait to get down there. But folks, thank you again. Let's just let's pray for everybody out there and making sure that we stay safe and we have safe travels on our way to and from home. Thank you all. Have a good night.